Hello everyone and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now I'm really excited for this game because it takes place on a map called Treadmill. And Treadmill is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most experimental map that I've seen in StarCraft 2 over the last couple of years. And as we'll be making this video a couple of hours ago, the Team Liquid map contest number 15, it wrapped up and this map made it out in 5th place. Meaning that there is a strong possibility that Treadmill will become a future ladder and tournament map. I'm excited for it, man, because this map, it's certainly a little bit crazy. I hope we're gonna have a standard start here. I don't see any SCVs out on the map, so I'm pretty sure, yep, it's gonna be a barracks on top of the ramp. And it looks like, indeed, we're gonna also see a hatchery going down right here on the low ground. Okay, so that gives me a little bit of time to show you around. Let's get started, though, like we always do by introducing the players. So spawning in the bottom left-hand corner with the blue Zerg drones, we have Rogue. And actually, fun fact, I believe Rogue still holds the record of all-time highest earnings in StarCraft 2. So this guy, he's something, I think he's north of like $920,000 in tournament earnings alone. Something like that. His opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, playing with the Red Terran SCVs, he goes by the name of ByuN. And ByuN, of course, an absolute channel favorite because this man, he micros units better than pretty much anyone else out there. Now, let me show you why this map is called Treadmill, okay? I'm really excited for this. So, in the top section of the map, we have a couple of speed-up circles. I'm literally running out of mouse pad. I'm trying to show you around. I'm trying to scroll my mouse, but there you go. There's a whole lot of speed-up circles in the top section of the map. So you can quite literally send a Zergling from this side of the map all the way to the other side in just a couple of seconds. Now, additionally, there's a couple of bases up here as well. So this 12 o'clock base, I think it's going to be extremely difficult to acquire, but you can just imagine battles happening in this section. There's also two in the corners. I think these are a little bit easier to acquire, although there's some rocks that are protecting them as well. However, I think it's going to mostly come down to the golden minerals here. So both sides of the map have golden minerals. There's a watchtower over here as well that can obviously, you know, oversee a lot of this section. You can imagine, though, if there's like a siege tank over here, right, and Zerg has taken this base, I mean, links are gonna have to go around, and normally that distance would be a lot to travel, but because of those speed-up circles, they're gonna get there quite quickly. Now, this alone would already make for a very interesting map feature for most maps out there. By the way, this Reaper is getting, yeah, a whole bunch of kills already. 2 kills pretty quickly. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more. So, a little bit more tame. We've seen this in a lot of other maps as well. There's these inhibitor zone generators that are basically slowing down circles, right? So units that are trapped in here will move quite a bit slower. This obviously prevents dropships from going in there completely uncontested, right? But imagine like a base is taken over here, siege tank on the low ground. If Zerglings try to go around, it's gonna take them much longer to actually get into that direction, right? Okay, once again, this would make a pretty cool feature all on its own. Next up, we have a base at the 6 o'clock position. This is also something that is relatively experimental. In a way, this is like an island base that's accessible through ground. And the way, like, the reason why I describe it like that is because, say, for example, right, there's a command center over here. You float it through the slowing circle to the 6 o'clock position. Zerg catches wind of it. They're first off going to have to send a couple of drones here to mine out a few of these mineral fields just to get access to this side of the map. So, in a way, I mean, island bases pretty much always favor Terran because their structures float, right? And they don't really need to produce out of those structures after they're settled down, like, for example, a Zerg would. So, in a way, this is still, I think, a pretty good base for a Terran player to take, but it's not going to be nearly as good as an island base, which I personally do appreciate. And then next up, this is like the final feature, okay? And this is, once again, a little bit ridiculous. This is, I think, a relatively easy to take 3rd or maybe 4th base. It has 2 rich Vespene geysers on it. Obviously, it's mirrored, so there's one on the other side as well. If Zerg, for example, decides to take these rich Vespene geysers really early on, they can make an absurd amount of Mutalisks. So, rich Vespene geysers, so a golden mineral, right? A golden mineral field, it mines for 7 minerals a trip, rather than the conventional 5 on a blue one. However, a rich Vespene geyser literally mines twice as much. So, if someone can acquire this base early on and then start harvesting it, you can definitely expect some very tech-heavy play. I'm really excited to find out exactly what ended up going down here. I can imagine, though, for both of these players, it's going to be one of their very first games on Treadmill. And the same actually can be said for me. This is going to be the very first game that that I'm gonna cast on this map, but it took place, this particular game, during the Team Liquid, I think it's called the LowkoTV Team Liquid map contest or something along those lines. Basically a tournament to help people vote on what the next maps should look like. And from what I've heard, I mean, this is the luxury of me casting games for YouTube. From what I've heard, these speed-up circles at the top of the map, they do actually come into play. So I'm really excited. All right, so what do we have? Lair coming up here, Bailing Nest coming up here, a little bit of Hellion Harass for ByuN. He's transitioning towards Bio because he's ByuN, and of course he is. He's got himself a starport with a reactor coming up, 1-1. Third command center is floating over. This is a very, very standard game so far. Slow Overlord, not so slow anymore. Queens also off creep, not so slow as they normally would be. And Rogue decides to take the gold base. Okay. Golden bases in general are high risk, high reward. They have 6 mineral fields on them, so it's not like, you know, a conventional blue base mineral field where you have quite a few more. Almost seemed like there were 10 over here for a second. Nah, it's not going to be the case. It's just going to be 8. But basically, getting to mine this, it basically gives you the same amount of resources as this one would. However, you require less drones to actually optimally mine it, which is, you know, not to be underestimated. ByuN has picked up on this, though, right away, so wouldn't be surprised at all if we're going to see something heading on over in that direction very soon. I like this as well. Look, if a medevac would come in, this Spore Crawler would get a couple extra shots in. I don't think it's going to be enough to kill a medevac, but pretty interesting. Okay, so here we go. ByuN is making a move in the direction of that golden base. This watchtower gives Zerg the heads up as well, though, so he sees that there's a couple of Widow Mines here. He's got a lot of mutas coming, but he doesn't have Bailing Speed yet. So with the build that Rogue is playing, Bailing Speed is pretty late. Upgrades in general are pretty late, but he's going to have mutas, lings, and then obviously queens. One less queen right now. One Zergling already popped one of the Widow Mines. Okay, good control there by Rogue, and he's going to be able to push this back for now. Golden base is done. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple of drones transferred in that direction, but sometimes actually transferring the drones kind of like denies the advantage and the effectiveness of that base. Bailing Speed is going to finish, though. It's done right now. Centrifugal hooks. This is going to be a difficult section for ByuN to clear out. There are a couple of Hellbats now available, too, so that's the leftover Hellions. With the armory, they can morph themselves into Hellbats. They're going to try and help out as well. This is one of the reasons why you do want to try and keep this alive. And for some reason, okay, this is the reason, Zerg has decided to leave the golden base alone for now. He's counter-attacking, getting quite a lot of damage done so far, although I think he could have probably killed a couple more of those SCVs. Little bit of miscontrol right there by Rogue, who probably was busy defending at home as well. Okay, how many SCVs can he get? Now he gets a couple more. Already, though, look at ByuN. Trying to catch this player off guard. It looks like Rogue has found a slither of space to move through, although a Widow Mine will connect and another Muta bites the dust. Alright. Dude, creep through the speed-up circles. He's got the base in the top left acquired too, by the way. I think ByuN hasn't seen that one. Look at how fast these Banelings will roll. Alright, so how many Mutas went down? 8. Yeah, that's quite a lot. 8 Mutas going down in the first minute or so of them being out is huge. There's a couple of Widow Mines here that are also in a very adventurous position. I do think Rogue has to try and kill those. He'll probably catch them very shortly. Either with 100 Zerglings or, you know, with an Overseer being present and on purpose trying to snipe it. Okay. ByuN's gonna move down. No way that this base is gonna happen. And so far, ByuN looks really strong here. Ooh, that Widow Mine actually a traitor. Did you see that? It killed a whole bunch of the Marines. 1-1 is extremely late here, right? So what Rogue is aiming for here is tech, and so far that's not really paying off. He started up 1-1 around the same time as Terran started up 2-2. As a matter of fact, it seems like that upgrade is even faster. So those Marines are going to be incredibly powerful. It's just Marines, though. Yeah, he's at 58 Marines right now and 12 Widow Mines. That is a powerful army, don't get me wrong, but also a very flimsy one. One little misplay can easily cost that entire Terran army. Okay, Widow Mine, or sorry, missile turret inside of the main base will be picked off. Hellbat here is going to control that mine for... Or, sorry, that... what's it called? What's the thing called? The Xel'naga Tower for a little bit longer. We barely even see Xel'naga Towers these days. Like, Xel'naga Watch Towers, they used to be very common back in the day. But these days, they're... Yeah, you don't see them very often anymore at all. So anyways, the third base is in a lot of trouble. ByuN is out on the map. There's one changeling over here as well, chasing down this army. So Rogue knows exactly when it is time to return home. And he loses, ByuN that is, a ton of his workers. Okay. +3 is already coming up, though. Very, very early. I think that this one is going to burn down if he's not repairing it. Yep, it will. At the same time, though, look at this. Terran is setting himself up for a fight over here. Now, Banelings can obviously roll through this very quickly. Good control here so far by ByuN, though, who's going to have to, like, be on top of his control, which he obviously is. Banelings, though, coming in from the back as well. ByuN, you absolute madman. How did you even... Alright, I think there might still be a little bit too much Zerg, but he certainly made the best of that fight. How did he even prepare himself for that? Now, he's been out on the map for so long, though, that a lot of reinforcements weren't there, and obviously the entire Zerg army was present. All of the medevacs end up getting picked off there as well, which is huge. You want to really try and keep those medevacs alive. I mean, not to, like, you know, be rude right here to Jimmy and all of the other Marines. The problem is that they are easy to replace. The medevacs are quite expensive. Man, those Widow Mines randomly positioned on the map, though. They've been an absolute disaster so far for the Zerg. There's still a couple Widow Mines up there, too. Zerglings going into the third base. Reinforcing Marines, though, should be able to help out there. Terran can't really back off very easily. There's Widow Mines burrowed inside of the slowing zone. Okay, instead, Rogue decides to evacuate this base. And maybe, once again, indeed, a retry to take the gold. Or one of the bases up north. I'm still a little concerned here for Rogue's upgrade situation. But eco-wise, he's now looking much, much better. He's being extremely annoying with those Mutalisks. Rogue is very good actually coming back. I remember watching a game of him versus Percival a couple days ago. Who's like a relatively new player. And Rogue is so scary, man. He played a game in the GSL where he definitely shouldn't have won, but somehow he managed. Zerglings once again over in that direction. Big Terran army over here, and ByuN actually decides to now load it all into a medevacs and go straight for the main base of the Zerg. Mutas are all over here, right? So they're dealing a lot of damage, but that means that these medevacs are gonna have an absolute blast. Okay. Ooh, nicely done. Picked up most of the bio there to protect itself from those Widow Mine hits and from the Banelings. 23 SCVs, though, and a command center, actually. The old main base gets picked off. That's terrible for ByuN. ByuN was in the driver's seat of this game a few minutes ago, but right now, it's looking a little bit more scary. There's so much movement on this map, it's crazy. Really, really, really cool. So the gold base has been reacquired. Planetary Fortress also taken over at the 4th base location, so that's going to be much harder to pick off, and with this many mules, that Terran Eco is actually not going to be so bad. Now, he's only got 35 workers, though, so... not too happy about it. Here we go. Zerg is coming on, rolling forward through all of the circles. Is there enough, though, for Zerg to get a good engagement here? I mean, there's so many mutas available. He can just target fire down whatever he likes, unless there's a good Baneling hit. Terran's going to be able to stay alive. The same, I guess, could be said for the Widow Mines as well. If the Widow Mines don't get a good connection, I think that ByuN's minutes in this game might very well be numbered. Well, I say that. We're still at 88 army supply. 92 right now for the Terran, which is slightly more than that of the Zerg. Once again, though, Rogue going in for what seems to be the counterattack. There are enough mutas, I think, to get rid of this missile turret relatively quickly. Very quick response time as well by ByuN, who sends the reinforcements on over in that direction. Okay, gold base once again killed. Zerglings on over at the 3rd base as well. Rogue is everywhere. The couple of reinforcing Marines, apparently no problem, as Rogue will kill them all, and now the SCVs are once more vulnerable. We're going to get down to single-digit SCVs if he continues at this rate. ByuN hasn't really been remaking a lot of units either. So, yeah, he's kind of broke. I mean, he's right now even going after the engineering bay that isn't researching. Maybe hoping that he can catch one of those upgrades before it finishes. Alright. I think, ByuN, it's time to put all of your eggs in one basket and go for one big push. Banelings through the slowing zone, though. Not going to happen. But at this point, Rogue just needs to hold on. As long as he defends this army, he's gonna be A-okay. So there's still technically a little bit of mining happening here, but Zerg has like 3 times the eco. Okay, a couple of Widow Mines will detonate here. Rogue playing this very calm and collectedly. Reinforcing units come up, and I think there might just be a little bit too much here for the Korean Zerg player. ByuN's trying to make the best of it, right? He still has a pretty scary army. He's hoping for that one juicy Widow Mine connection to change the tide of battle. So far, it's not happening because Rogue is playing this army composition absolutely beautifully. At this point, he's feeling brave enough as well to take some of those fights off creep. Reinforcing Zerg units, though, are going to be here very soon. And at this point, there's not even enough Marines anymore to deal with all of the Mutalisks. And eventually, ByuN, after a huge advantage early on, is forced to tap out. This map is cool. I really hope we're gonna see more of it going forward. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. For now, though, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.